For as long as humans have existed, the world has been filled with mysteries that defy simple explanation. From enigmatic artifacts buried beneath the soil to monuments aligned with the stars, these traces of the past invite us to wonder, to pause, and to reflect on what came before. Some of these mysteries were once considered inexplicable, inspiring tales of the supernatural or speculation about knowledge long lost to time. Yet, with the steady progress of modern science, many of these wonders are beginning to reveal their secrets, bridging the gap between imagination and understanding. This journey into ancient mysteries is not just an exploration of artifacts and civilizations. It is also an invitation to step into the minds of our ancestors, to experience their curiosity, ingenuity, and the challenges they faced in shaping the world around them. As we move through this exploration, we will trace the path from the celestial skies observed by ancient astronomers to the frozen landscapes preserving long-forgotten lives, from the ingenious technologies of early humans to the medical practices that sustained them, and the migrations that spread culture and knowledge across continents. Each discovery, each explanation, carries with it a quiet awe, revealing the interplay between the known and the unknown, between fact and mystery. This narrative is designed to be both informative and soothing, a space where curiosity is rewarded and wonder is embraced. As you listen, you are invited to drift gently through time and space, witnessing the enduring brilliance and resilience of human civilization and discovering how the ancient past continues to resonate with the present. For millennia, humans have looked to the night sky with a mixture of awe and curiosity. The stars, planets, and sweeping arcs of the Milky Way have been both guides and enigmas, shaping navigation, agriculture, and even belief systems. Ancient civilizations meticulously observed these celestial patterns, aligning monuments and calendars with the movements of the heavens. From the precise tracking of Venus by the Mayans to the pyramids of Egypt aligned with specific stars, the sky became a canvas upon which humans recorded time, purpose, and cosmic connection. At first glance, such precision might seem miraculous. Yet modern science has shown that careful observation, record-keeping, and empirical understanding made these achievements possible. The heavens were not merely a source of measurement, but also of meaning. Celestial events were imbued with spiritual significance, influencing rituals, governance, and social life. Eclipses, solstices, and planetary alignments were recorded and celebrated, often woven into mythologies that reflected cultural values. Today, with the aid of astronomy, computer modeling, and satellite imaging, researchers can reconstruct the exact alignments and purposes behind these ancient observatories. The clarity offered by science does not diminish their beauty. Instead, it reveals the extraordinary intelligence, patience, and observational skill of civilizations that flourished long before telescopes and modern instruments. By studying these ancient astronomers, we witness the human desire to connect with something greater, to measure and make sense of the universe. Their observations, preserved in stone and records, bridge millennia, reminding us that curiosity and wonder are timeless qualities. In this serene reflection, the sky becomes both a teacher and a storyteller, offering insights into the intelligence and imagination of those who came before us, as well as the enduring human fascination with the cosmos. Across the far reaches of glaciers, tundras, and high mountains, nature has preserved stories of the past in ice. These frozen landscapes act as silent vaults, holding bodies, tools, and traces of life that have remained remarkably intact for thousands of years. In such environments, decay slows almost to a halt, allowing modern scientists to uncover details about the people, animals, and ecosystems of ancient times. Among the most famous examples is Otzi the Iceman, discovered in the Alps, whose preserved body provides an intimate glimpse into daily life, diet, and even the cause of death over 5,000 years ago. Every garment, tool, and wound offers clues, creating a vivid window into a distant era, as if time itself paused to record these moments. Beyond human remains, entire ecosystems have been revealed in frozen soil and permafrost. Woolly mammoths, plants, and insects, perfectly preserved, show how life adapted to the cold and provide critical insight into environmental conditions long before industrialization. Ice itself acts as a chronicle, with layers revealing climate events, volcanic eruptions, and seasonal cycles. By studying these frozen archives, scientists can reconstruct the challenges ancient humans faced, understanding how they survived, migrated, and adapted to ever-changing landscapes. These discoveries evoke both awe and reflection. The preservation in ice allows us to connect emotionally and intellectually with lives long past, highlighting the resilience, ingenuity, and vulnerability of humans in the face of nature. Even as science explains many details, the mystery of why certain artifacts, bodies, or creatures were preserved remains, reminding us that the past is always partially hidden, waiting patiently to be discovered. In this quiet space between the known and the unknown, frozen time invites meditation, curiosity, and a gentle immersion into the story of life preserved against the odds. Across the vast stretches of time, some secrets of the ancient world have been preserved not in stone or clay, but in ice. Glaciers, frozen tundras, and permafrost have acted as nature's vaults, holding within them whispers of lives and ecosystems long past. The cold, unyielding environment halts decay, allowing bodies, tools, and entire settlements to remain astonishingly intact for thousands of years. It is in these frozen realms that humanity has discovered some of its most haunting and revealing treasures. The preservation is so precise that we can almost hear the pulse of ancient life, the heartbeat of a world that has long since shifted, melted, or vanished. These frozen mysteries evoke a sense of wonder tempered by the starkness of nature, reminding us that even in silence, the past can speak volumes. Among the most famous of these frozen revelations is Otzi the Iceman, discovered in the Ötztal Alps in 1991. His body, preserved for over 5 millennia, offers an intimate glimpse into the life of a person who lived during the Copper Age. The discovery was astonishing not merely for the preservation itself, but for the details it revealed: the clothing he wore, the tools he carried, the injuries he sustained, and even traces of what he had eaten in his final hours. Modern science has meticulously examined his remains using techniques that would have been unimaginable to those who first stumbled upon him, from CT scans to isotopic analysis, uncovering insights into his diet, health, and even the possible cause of death. What is remarkable is that each piece of information opens a window into a larger world, painting a picture of civilization, its daily routines, and its interactions with the surrounding environment. The frozen body becomes a storyteller, narrating history in subtle but unmistakable ways. Beyond individual bodies, entire ecosystems have been unveiled by melting glaciers and excavations. Mammoths, preserved in Siberian permafrost, reveal not only anatomy, but the environments in which they lived. The study of these ancient creatures provides critical insights into climate patterns, migration, and extinction events, connecting the distant past with the ecological challenges of our present. Ice, in its quiet persistence, preserves both life and context, allowing us to understand the interwoven nature of species, climate, and human activity. Each frozen specimen is both a marvel and a reminder of impermanence, a paradoxical lesson that the forces of nature can both conserve and conceal with equal power. In many cases, the discoveries are as enigmatic as they are informative. Archaeologists and scientists often find tools, textiles, or objects whose purposes are not immediately clear. Yet, through careful analysis, the patterns emerge. Chemical tests reveal dyes and minerals used in clothing. Pollen samples suggest the season of burial or death. Isotopic signatures trace the migration of both humans and animals across vast distances. What once seemed inexplicable gradually becomes intelligible through patient observation and methodical investigation. Science, in this way, transforms wonder into understanding without stripping the story of its poetry or emotional resonance. The frozen past becomes a dialogue between what we can measure and what we can imagine, a conversation between evidence and the imagination that breathes life into it. Even natural features of the ice itself hold clues to the past. Layers within glaciers act as chronological records, each band a page in Earth's history. Volcanic eruptions, atmospheric changes, and seasonal variations are all preserved, allowing scientists to reconstruct climates and environmental conditions that shaped the lives of ancient peoples. By studying these frozen archives, we learn not only about the distant past, but also about the resilience, adaptation, and ingenuity of the humans who survived within it. The ice tells a dual story, one of environmental forces beyond our control, and one of human determination to endure, thrive, and innovate in the harshest of conditions. The contrast between the fragility of life and the permanence of ice enhances the contemplative tone of discovery, drawing listeners into a reflective state where curiosity and awe coexist. There is also an intimate human element to these frozen discoveries. In many cases, the remains and artifacts evoke empathy and connection. We imagine the daily struggles of those who lived millennia ago. The cold mornings, the careful preparation of meals, the social bonds, and the quiet rituals that marked each day. Ice captures a snapshot of life in a way few other mediums can, preserving gestures, possessions, and even expressions that would otherwise be lost. This intimacy deepens the emotional resonance of the findings, reminding us that history is not abstract, but lived, and that the people of the past were as real, complex, and intricate as those alive today. The frozen world, though silent and cold, pulses with stories that are slowly being interpreted through modern science. Yet, even with all the insights gained, ice retains its enigmatic quality. Many questions remain, particularly when discoveries are fragmentary or unexpected. Why did certain items accompany their owners into death? How did humans interact with megafauna, such as mammoths and giant deer, whose fossils have been uncovered frozen in time? How did climate shifts influence migration, settlement, and survival strategies? These uncertainties keep the sense of mystery alive, ensuring that even with modern techniques and detailed analysis, there is still room for imagination and speculation. It is this balance between tangible scientific explanation and the poetic mystery of frozen time that gives these discoveries such enduring fascination. As the world warms and glaciers retreat, new revelations continue to emerge, offering further glimpses into the lives of the distant past. Each thawed artifact, each recovered specimen, adds another piece to the complex puzzle of human history and environmental interaction. These discoveries remind us of the fragility of preservation, the fleeting nature of opportunity, and the responsibility inherent in studying these ancient treasures. Through careful stewardship and scientific inquiry, we can honor the past while deepening our understanding of the natural and human world. In contemplating these frozen enigmas, there's a quiet, meditative quality that aligns perfectly with reflective exploration. The mind is invited to wander slowly through alpine valleys, icy plains, and snow-covered mountains, tracing the steps of those who came before. Each glint of sunlight on ice, each shadow cast across a glacier, becomes a reminder of history suspended in time, waiting patiently to reveal its secrets. In this serene state of curiosity, we see how science gently illuminates the unknown, offering explanations without diminishing the poetry of discovery. The frozen world of the ancients, in all its silence and stillness, becomes a companion in reflection, guiding us toward an appreciation of resilience, ingenuity, and the quiet persistence of life across the ages. As we leave the icy landscapes behind, our journey naturally transitions toward the ingenuity and brilliance of ancient civilizations in warmer climes. The technologies, the innovations, and the tools that confounded observers for centuries. From the preservation of life in ice, we move to the preservation of knowledge and skill in stone, metal, and craft. Both frozen remains and crafted artifacts speak to a singular truth: that humanity, in all times and places, has possessed the curiosity, creativity, and determination to leave a mark on the world that reaches far beyond the boundaries of its own moment. And it is in this continuum, stretching from the cold peaks of the Alps to the sun-baked temples of early civilizations, that the story of human ingenuity truly begins to unfold. Across the expanse of human history, there exists a remarkable array of technologies that, for centuries, seem to defy logic and understanding. Objects and methods that appear impossibly advanced for their time have long captured the imagination of scholars, adventurers, and dreamers alike. From the perfectly sharp edges of Damascus steel to the enduring strength of Roman concrete, these artifacts of ingenuity challenge the assumption that our ancestors were simple or unsophisticated. Each discovery acts as a bridge, connecting us with minds from the distant past, inviting us to explore not just how these technologies worked, but why they were created and how they reveal the values, priorities, and creativity of the civilizations that produced them. The allure lies not only in the technical achievement, but in the story of human curiosity and innovation, stretching across generations and continents. Take, for instance, Damascus steel, renowned in both legend and practice for its extraordinary strength, flexibility, and distinctive patterned surface. For centuries, the exact methods used to forge this metal were lost to time, sparking countless theories and even mysticism surrounding its production. The blades themselves, some dating back over 1,000 years, could cut through lesser steels and retain their edge in ways that modern metallurgy initially struggled to replicate. It was only through careful chemical analysis, replication experiments, and a deep understanding of crystallography that modern scientists began to unravel the secrets hidden within the folds of this ancient steel. The process reveals a blend of chemistry, craftsmanship, and intuitive understanding of materials, demonstrating that what once seemed magical was rooted in careful observation, experimentation, and skill honed over generations. Similarly, Roman concrete stands as a testament to the ingenuity of ancient engineering. Structures like the Pantheon, with its massive unreinforced dome, have survived for nearly 2 millennia, resisting earthquakes, weathering, and the relentless passage of time. For centuries, historians and engineers marveled at the resilience of these constructions, often attributing their longevity to mystery rather than method. Modern analysis, however, has revealed that Roman concrete was a highly sophisticated material, incorporating volcanic ash, lime, and seawater to create chemical reactions that strengthen over time. Even the microscopic composition of the mix contributes to self-healing properties, something that continues to inspire contemporary material science. These revelations illuminate not only technical prowess, but also a broader understanding of how observation, experimentation, and adaptation were central to ancient human innovation. The marvels of ancient technology are not limited to metallurgy or construction. Across the world, we find ingenious tools, complex machines, and practical devices that demonstrate extraordinary understanding of mechanics and design. The Antikythera mechanism, for example, a bronze device recovered from a shipwreck off the coast of Greece, is an ancient astronomical calculator capable of predicting celestial events with remarkable accuracy. Initially dismissed as an anachronism, further study revealed intricate gears and mechanisms that prefigured similar developments in Europe more than a millennium later. Such artifacts challenge assumptions about the linear progression of technological knowledge, reminding us that the past contains pockets of brilliance that may disappear only to be rediscovered and appreciated anew. What makes these technological achievements so compelling is the context in which they were created. Ancient inventors and craftsmen often worked without the benefit of written manuals, standardized tools, or formal scientific theory. Knowledge was accumulated through careful observation, trial and error, and the transmission of skill across generations. Societies that valued innovation and mastery produced remarkable results, often motivated by practical necessity, ritual significance, or the desire to leave a lasting legacy. The result is a landscape of artifacts and methods that seems, at first glance, almost miraculous, until one recognizes the careful logic and creativity underlying each achievement. It is a quiet reminder that human curiosity and determination have always been powerful forces, shaping the world in ways both tangible and profound. The process of uncovering these technological secrets often mirrors the ancient methods themselves: careful, deliberate, and full of patience. Scientists and engineers examine microstructures of metals, test reconstruction techniques, and simulate ancient manufacturing processes. Each experiment brings the distant past into sharper focus, revealing the logic and skill encoded in the objects themselves. The wonder lies in how these discoveries simultaneously answer questions and generate new ones. We learn not only how a tool was made, but why it was made in a particular way, how it was used, and what it reveals about the society that produced it. The dialogue between ancient craft and modern science becomes a form of storytelling, one that blends fact with imagination and leaves room for reflection. Some lost technologies carry a subtle poetry, as if the ingenuity of their creators resonates across time. Consider the precise water management systems of the Nabateans, which channeled scarce desert rainfall to sustain cities carved into cliffs, or the astronomical instruments of ancient China, which required meticulous observation and calculation. Even the intricate textile techniques of pre-Columbian civilizations reveal patterns of sophistication that rival modern engineering in both creativity and function. These examples illustrate that technology in the ancient world was not merely utilitarian. It was an expression of human curiosity, observation, and cultural identity. Each innovation reflects a dialogue between people and their environment, blending necessity with creativity, practicality with beauty. In reflecting on these ancient technologies, it is important to recognize the delicate balance between mystery and understanding. While modern science has demystified many methods, the sense of wonder remains undiminished. There is a profound satisfaction in uncovering how a blade was forged or a dome constructed, yet these explanations do not strip the artifacts of their magic. On the contrary, understanding the ingenuity involved deepens our appreciation for the intelligence, skill, and perseverance of ancient minds. The process of discovery, slow and deliberate, mirrors the methods of the creators themselves, emphasizing observation, patience, and reflection as enduring human virtues. The study of lost technologies also invites contemplation of the broader human story. These innovations remind us that creativity, ingenuity, and problem-solving are not modern traits, but are woven deeply into the fabric of humanity. They show that even in societies we might superficially consider primitive, there existed a remarkable depth of knowledge, observation, and experimentation. Ancient technology is a bridge between eras, connecting the present to distant times and providing insight into the universal human desire to shape, understand, and improve the world. Through these achievements, we glimpse the continuity of curiosity and intellect that binds us to those who came before and perhaps to those who will follow. Ultimately, the allure of ancient technologies lies in the interplay between what is known and what remains mysterious. Science illuminates the methods and principles, but the artistry, creativity, and cultural significance of these innovations retain a sense of enchantment. They invite us to consider not only the mechanics of creation, but the human story behind it, the minds, hands, and intentions that brought these marvels into being. As we stand in contemplation of these achievements, we are reminded that technology is not merely a tool, but a reflection of human imagination, a testament to perseverance, and a whisper from the past that continues to inspire, intrigue, and captivate. Long before the advent of modern hospitals, laboratories, or scientific journals, humans sought to understand the mysteries of the body, illness, and healing. Across continents and millennia, ancient civilizations developed medical practices that were at once practical experimental, and deeply entwined with culture and spirituality. These methods often appeared mysterious or even magical to outsiders. Yet modern science has revealed that many were grounded in keen observation, empirical knowledge, and a sophisticated understanding of natural processes. From the use of herbal remedies to complex surgical procedures, ancient medicine illustrates a profound human desire to alleviate suffering, prolong life, and comprehend the delicate balance of the human body. The allure of these practices lies not only in their ingenuity, but in the way they bridge the gap between myth and empirical understanding, creating a narrative that is both fascinating and enlightening. In Egypt, for example, medical papyri demonstrate a remarkable knowledge of anatomy, disease, and treatment. Physicians understood the importance of cleanliness, the effects of wounds and infections, and even the principles behind splinting broken bones. Certain treatments, such as the use of honey for its antibacterial properties, the application of willow bark for pain relief, and the careful crafting of surgical instruments, reflect an empirical understanding that resonates even in modern medicine. While some aspects of Egyptian medicine were intertwined with ritual and spiritual belief, these practices were underpinned by careful observation and long-term experience. The blending of the mystical with the practical offers a window into a worldview where the physical and spiritual realms were inseparable, yet where skill and knowledge could profoundly impact human health. Similarly, traditional Chinese medicine demonstrates a sophisticated system of diagnosis and treatment developed over thousands of years. The concept of balance, embodied in the principles of yin and yang, extends to the understanding of internal energies, organs, and their interactions. Techniques such as acupuncture, herbal therapy, and moxibustion, though sometimes viewed skeptically in the modern world, have been shown in numerous studies to offer therapeutic benefits. The meticulous observation of patients' symptoms, pulse, and responses to treatment reflects a deep empirical approach, even when framed in symbolic or philosophical language. Ancient Chinese physicians were keen students of the human body, often integrating environmental and seasonal factors into their practice, demonstrating an awareness of the interconnectedness of life that continues to inspire holistic approaches today. In India, Ayurvedic medicine combines detailed knowledge of herbs, diet, and lifestyle with an intricate understanding of the human body and mind. Treatments were tailored not only to physical symptoms, but also to an individual's constitution, environmental factors, and psychological state. The texts and oral traditions that recorded these practices reveal a sophisticated classification of diseases, remedies, and preventive strategies. Modern pharmacology has verified the efficacy of many Ayurvedic herbs, demonstrating that observation and experimentation, rather than mere superstition, guided ancient practices. The emphasis on balance, moderation, and harmony mirrors the same concern for health, environment, and well-being that resonates across civilizations, revealing a continuity in human approaches to sustaining life. Even in the ancient Americas, evidence of complex medical knowledge emerges. The Inca and Maya developed methods for treating wounds, performing minor surgical procedures, and using plant-based remedies with remarkable precision. Craniotomies in pre-Columbian South America, for instance, demonstrate a knowledge of anatomy, infection control, and recovery that suggests careful observation and practical skill. In these distant societies, medicine was a combination of empirical practice and ritual, where spiritual considerations guided diagnosis and healing. The coexistence of rational observation and cultural meaning creates a multidimensional approach to health, one that modern science increasingly recognizes as both effective and contextually sophisticated. The preservation of medical knowledge and artifacts, texts, and even mummified remains offers us unique insight into the human experience of illness and healing. Tools, surgical instruments, herbal containers, and textual descriptions reveal a world in which trial and error, careful observation, and cumulative learning were central to innovation. Modern forensic science has further illuminated these practices, showing that ancient procedures were often far more precise and effective than previously imagined. The study of bones, mummies, and other preserved remains allows researchers to reconstruct treatments, understand disease prevalence, and even gauge the success rates of certain interventions. Each discovery adds depth and texture to our understanding of human resilience and ingenuity. There's a quiet poetry in these ancient healing practices, a rhythm that mirrors the careful, contemplative approach of those who applied them. Treatments were often slow, deliberate, and administered with both hands and mindfulness. The repetition of rituals, the careful preparation of medicines, and the observation of patient responses created a meditative environment in which healing was both practical and symbolic. In this way, the act of medicine became an intimate dialogue between the healer and the healed, between knowledge and experience, between science and the unseen forces that humans have always sought to understand. The elegance of this approach continues to captivate, offering lessons in patience, observation, and respect for the human body. What is particularly striking about ancient medicine is the balance it maintains between the known and the mysterious. Many practices, once dismissed as superstition, have been validated by modern research, revealing a deep empirical foundation beneath symbolic or ritualistic frameworks. Other elements remain enigmatic, retaining a sense of wonder and inviting ongoing exploration. This duality is precisely what gives the subject its enduring appeal. It is a space where fact and mystery coexist, where science illuminates without extinguishing the poetic beauty of human ingenuity. Listeners are invited to appreciate both the skill and the imagination that informed these ancient healers, cultivating a reflective state that is perfect for immersive, sleep-friendly contemplation. Through the study of ancient medicine, we also glimpse the broader human story, our enduring desire to survive, to alleviate suffering, and to understand the body and mind. Healing practices were not only technical achievements, but cultural expressions, reflecting beliefs, values, and the interwoven nature of society and environment. The herbs, surgical techniques, and preventive strategies tell stories of adaptation, observation, and creativity, highlighting the universality of human concern for well-being across time and place. Even when separated by continents or centuries, these practices reveal common threads: attention to detail, respect for experience, and a desire to harmonize human life with the natural and spiritual world. As we explore these ancient healing traditions, we begin to see a continuity between past and present. The insights gained by modern science often validate what our ancestors already knew, demonstrating that observation, patience, and careful experimentation are timeless tools for understanding the human body. At the same time, the mysteries that remain, rituals, symbolic interpretations, and unexplained outcomes, invite continued wonder and reflection. In contemplating these practices, the mind is gently encouraged to wander through quiet laboratories, sunlit herb gardens, and ceremonial spaces of long ago, absorbing the lessons of careful attention, creativity, and the subtle interplay of knowledge and intuition. In the end, ancient medicine reminds us that the human pursuit of understanding is both practical and profound. It is a journey of observation, experimentation, and empathy, bridging the gap between the mysteries of life and the explanations science can offer. The practices of healers from Egypt, China, India, and the Americas illuminate the resourcefulness of the human spirit, demonstrating that even in eras without modern technology, humans sought solutions, explored methods, and nurtured life with remarkable skill. Through this lens, ancient medicine becomes more than history. It becomes a meditation on curiosity, resilience, and the enduring human desire to care for one another and to make sense of the fragile, wondrous body we inhabit. For tens of thousands of years, humans have moved across continents, leaving subtle traces of their journeys in the soil, the DNA they carried, and the artifacts they left behind. Ancient migrations are stories written not in ink, but in the silent record of bones, tools, and genetic markers. For centuries, the paths our ancestors took were hidden beneath layers of time and mystery, their movements suggested only by scattered archaeological finds and fragmented oral histories. Yet, Modern science, through the convergence of archaeology, anthropology, and genetics, has begun to illuminate these journeys, revealing a narrative of resilience, adaptation, and discovery that spans millennia. The story of human migration is a quiet testament to curiosity and courage, a narrative of exploration that begins with small steps and expands into epic crossings of deserts, mountains, and oceans. One of the most profound revelations of recent decades comes from the study of ancient DNA. Scientists can now extract genetic material from remains that are thousands of years old, allowing us to trace lineages, familial relationships, and population movements with remarkable precision. These genetic fingerprints have revealed migrations previously unknown or only speculated upon, showing how groups of humans dispersed across Eurasia, Africa, and the Americas in ways that were influenced by climate, resources, and cultural development. The story unfolds in layers: a family moving seasonally for sustenance, a tribe following rivers or coastlines, or an entire civilization adapting to environmental pressures by relocating over generations. Each discovery of ancient DNA is like opening a letter written by ancestors, offering insight into decisions, adaptations, and survival strategies that shaped the human experience. Archaeological findings complement this genetic evidence, providing tangible markers of movement. Tools, pottery, and settlements form a chain of evidence that traces human presence across vast distances. The style, composition, and craftsmanship of these artifacts often indicate cultural exchange, trade, and adaptation to local environments. For example, similarities in stone tools across distant regions suggest not only migration, but also the transmission of knowledge and innovation. This interplay of genetic data and material culture creates a multidimensional picture of human mobility, revealing that our ancestors were both inventive and mobile, capable of adapting to diverse landscapes and climates with ingenuity and foresight. The study of migration also uncovers remarkable stories of endurance and navigation. Early humans crossed vast plains, navigated treacherous rivers, and even ventured across open seas long before the advent of modern transportation. The Polynesians, for instance, sailed thousands of miles across the Pacific using intricate knowledge of the stars, ocean currents, and wind patterns, reaching islands that were previously thought unreachable. Similarly, early humans entered the Americas via the Bering Land Bridge, enduring harsh climates and long journeys to settle in new lands. Each migration is not only a tale of survival, but also a story of observation, adaptation, and the unyielding human drive to explore the unknown. The courage and ingenuity required for these journeys are amplified when we consider the absence of modern tools, maps, or technology, relying solely on instinct, observation, and accumulated knowledge. Patterns of migration also reveal the complex interplay between humans and their environment. Shifts in climate, the expansion of glaciers, and the availability of resources often dictated the timing and direction of movement. During periods of warming, humans ventured into previously inhospitable areas, while in colder eras, survival depended on retreating to more temperate regions. Archaeological sites and fossil evidence help reconstruct these environmental pressures, showing how humans adapted not only physically but culturally, developing clothing, shelter, and tools suited to new climates. The story of migration, therefore, is inseparable from the story of human innovation, resilience, and the profound connection between people and the landscapes they inhabited. Ancient migrations also shaped the genetic diversity we see in populations today. The intermingling of distinct groups over generations created a tapestry of traits, languages, and cultural practices that continue to define communities. Genetics has shown that migrations were not always linear or isolated. Waves of movement often intersected, resulting in exchanges that enriched societies and facilitated the spread of technology, ideas, and traditions. This blending is evident not only in physical traits, but also in the diffusion of agricultural techniques, art, and religious practices. Human history, therefore, is a story of movement, contact, and exchange, revealing that the seemingly isolated decisions of our ancestors have rippled through time to shape the world we know today. In tracing these migrations, we also encounter mysteries that remain tantalizingly unresolved. Questions about why certain groups moved, how some populations maintained cohesion over vast distances, and the exact routes taken continue to challenge researchers. The sparse record of material culture, coupled with the fragmentary nature of ancient DNA, leaves gaps that invite both scientific inquiry and imaginative speculation. These gaps, rather than frustrating, enhance the sense of wonder, encouraging us to consider the risks, discoveries, and unknowns faced by people who walked paths now invisible to the modern eye. There is a reflective beauty in this uncertainty, a gentle reminder that history is both known and unknowable, a continuum of evidence and imagination intertwined. The narrative of human migration also underscores the universality of experience across time. Across continents, humans shared common challenges: finding food, avoiding predators, adapting to new environments, and navigating unknown terrains. These shared experiences reveal that, despite cultural differences, early humans were united by curiosity, resilience, and the drive to explore. The journeys of one group may have been separated by thousands of miles from another, yet the motivations, fears, and ingenuity involved resonate across millennia. In this way, the story of migration is not simply a chronicle of movement. It is a meditation on the enduring qualities that define humanity: adaptation, exploration, and the search for connection with the world. There is also a poetic dimension to understanding ancient migrations. Imagine a family crossing vast grasslands under a setting sun, the wind carrying the scent of distant forests. Picture navigators reading the stars above a dark ocean, guiding canoes toward islands unseen for generations. Envision entire communities relocating to fertile valleys, building shelters, and cultivating crops with skill passed down through generations. These images, informed by archaeological and genetic research, create a quiet tapestry of human experience, blending factual understanding with the imagination needed to bridge gaps in the record. In this reflective state, the mind moves slowly and gently through time, tracing footsteps that have long faded, yet whose echoes remain etched in the landscape and in our very DNA. As we consider the story of human migration, a sense of continuity emerges. The curiosity, determination, and resourcefulness of our ancestors mirror qualities that persist today. Every journey, from the slow movement across plains to the daring voyages across oceans, speaks to the timeless human desire to explore, adapt, and thrive. These migrations are not merely historical events. They are reflections of the enduring human spirit, a testament to creativity, resilience, and the quiet pursuit of understanding the world. By studying them, we connect with a chain of humanity stretching back tens of thousands of years, a reminder that each step, no matter how small, contributes to the unfolding story of civilization. In the stillness of reflection, as we trace these ancient paths, the interplay between mystery and knowledge becomes clear. Science provides evidence and reconstruction, mapping the movements and interactions of peoples long gone. Yet the emotional and imaginative resonance of these journeys remains untouched, allowing us to feel a connection across time. The courage, ingenuity, and endurance of early humans continue to inspire awe, inviting contemplation of both our ancestors' achievements and our own place within the vast, unfolding story of life on Earth. Human migration, in all its complexity and beauty, is a narrative that blends fact with wonder, evidence with imagination, and history with the quiet poetry of exploration. Across the centuries, human civilizations have left behind monuments, cities, and architectural wonders that continue to both inspire awe and puzzle modern observers. These structures, some massive, some intricate, some perfectly aligned with the natural world, stand as testaments to human ambition, creativity, and ingenuity. From the soaring pyramids of Egypt to the labyrinthine cities of the Indus Valley, the precision, scale, and sophistication of ancient construction have long sparked curiosity and admiration. They compel us to ask not only how such feats were accomplished without modern technology, but why they were built with such care, effort, and vision. In every stone, brick, and column, there is a story of human endeavor, perseverance, and a desire to create something enduring, something that reaches beyond the fleeting span of individual lives into the timeless expanse of history. The Great Pyramids of Giza, for example, are remarkable not only for their sheer size, but for the precision with which they were constructed. The alignment of the pyramids with the cardinal points, their internal passages, and the mathematical relationships embedded in their design suggest a level of planning and knowledge that remains astonishing even by modern standards. Recent studies reveal that their builders understood the principles of geometry, engineering, and astronomy in ways that allowed them to move massive stones, achieve perfect alignments, and create structures that have endured for over 4 millennia. These constructions were not random. They were the product of meticulous observation, careful calculation, and coordinated labor on an extraordinary scale. The precision achieved by ancient architects and engineers bridges the realms of science and art, blending technical skill with aesthetic and spiritual vision. In South America, the cities of the Inca civilization demonstrate a different, yet equally impressive, architectural mastery. Machu Picchu, perched high in the Andes, reflects a deep understanding of both engineering and environmental adaptation. Its terraces, walls, and water channels were designed to prevent erosion, manage rainfall, and support agricultural production, all while blending seamlessly into the surrounding landscape. The stones fit together so tightly that not even a knife blade can pass between them, a feat achieved without mortar and with only rudimentary tools. The precision and foresight displayed in Incan construction reveal a profound connection between humans and their environment, illustrating how architectural ingenuity can harmonize with nature rather than dominate it. Such structures remind us that ancient builders were not only skilled artisans, but also keen observers and adaptive thinkers. Across the Mediterranean, cities of the ancient world reveal architectural sophistication on both monumental and domestic scales. Roman engineering produced aqueducts that carried water across valleys, amphitheaters that hosted tens of thousands of spectators, and roads that connected empires with efficiency and durability. The principles of arches, vaults, and concrete construction allowed for innovation in both form and function, creating structures that have endured centuries of earthquakes, weathering, and human activity. What is particularly striking is the integration of functionality, aesthetics, and civic planning. Ancient architects were not merely constructing buildings, but shaping the daily lives, social structures, and cultural expressions of their communities. Each city, with its streets, temples, forums, and houses, becomes a reflection of collective human ingenuity, planning, and vision. Even smaller, less celebrated sites reveal mysteries and marvels. Stone circles, temples, and ceremonial platforms across Europe, Africa, and Asia often exhibit astronomical alignments, acoustic properties, and symbolic configurations that suggest careful observation of nature and the cosmos. Structures such as New Grange in Ireland, which aligns with the rising sun on the winter solstice, reveal a sophisticated understanding of light, shadow, and celestial timing. The care taken to align, balance, and orient these constructions demonstrates not only technical skill, but a desire to harmonize human activity with natural cycles. Each site offers a quiet meditation on human curiosity and the impulse to create meaning in both the physical and spiritual dimensions of life. The mystery of ancient architecture is amplified by the scale and coordination required for many projects. Massive monuments often necessitated labor organization, logistical planning, and resource management that rival modern engineering projects. Workers needed tools, food, shelter, and direction, all coordinated over months or years of effort. These undertakings reveal social, political, and cultural structures that enabled such feats, hinting at hierarchies, planning systems, and shared purpose. Modern archaeology and engineering studies have reconstructed many of these processes, uncovering evidence of ramps, pulleys, and other techniques that made seemingly impossible tasks achievable. Yet even with modern insight, the experience of these structures, their scale, their alignment, their artistry, retains a sense of wonder that transcends explanation. Another fascinating aspect of ancient architecture lies in the use of symbolism and storytelling through design. Temples, tombs, and public buildings often incorporated narrative elements, depicting myths, histories, and societal ideals through carvings, reliefs, and spatial organization. Architecture became a medium of memory, communication, and cultural identity, a language carved in stone. In many cases, the symbolism is intertwined with function, creating spaces that were both practical and profoundly meaningful. These constructions speak across time, offering glimpses into the values, beliefs, and priorities of their creators. They invite reflection not only on human ingenuity, but on the ways in which culture, spirituality, and intellect can be expressed through built form. The study of ancient architecture also invites a sense of quiet reflection and immersion. Observing a carefully constructed wall, a sunlit temple, or a series of aligned stones encourages contemplation of human creativity, patience, and vision. The mind slows, taking in the interplay of light and shadow, the scale and proportion of materials, and the subtle harmony between built form and natural environment. It is this reflective quality, combined with the ongoing pursuit of understanding, that makes the subject so well suited to a sleep-friendly, meditative narrative. The listener is gently drawn into the process of discovery, imagining the lives of builders, architects, and planners, and the world in which they lived, all while appreciating the enduring legacy of their labor. Even as modern science illuminates methods and construction techniques, mystery remains a vital element. Questions linger. How did certain civilizations achieve such precise alignments without modern instruments? What knowledge was transmitted orally or lost to history? How did human creativity, observation, and intuition combine to produce feats that continue to awe and inspire? These unanswered questions preserve a sense of wonder, ensuring that exploration is not merely academic but also contemplative and imaginative. The tension between knowledge and mystery is essential, allowing us to appreciate both the ingenuity of the past and the enduring enigma of human potential. Ultimately, ancient architecture tells a story of humanity's desire to shape the world, to leave a mark that transcends time, and to express both function and meaning. From towering pyramids to intricate city plans, these constructions reflect ingenuity, skill, and the harmonious blending of human effort with environmental and cosmic awareness. They are evidence of collective vision, the capacity for planning and execution across generations, and the enduring power of human creativity. Observing these structures, contemplating their mysteries, and understanding the methods behind them provides both insight and inspiration. A quiet journey through the ingenuity, ambition, and imagination that define the human story. In the quiet corners of ancient civilizations, long before the rise of modern hospitals and sterile laboratories, people sought to heal themselves and one another with what they had at hand. Their methods often blended careful observation, trial and error, ritual, and a profound connection to the natural world around them. In Egypt, papyrus scrolls detail remedies for ailments ranging from infections to broken bones, while the temples of India whisper of Ayurveda, a practice that balances the body, mind, and spirit. In China, herbal texts speak of roots, leaves, and minerals and their careful combinations, designed to restore harmony within the body. Across continents and centuries, humans approached sickness with both humility and curiosity, guided by an intuition that the human body and the natural world were intertwined. The first thing that strikes us, even now, is how sophisticated some of these practices were. Archaeological evidence shows that ancient surgeons performed complex operations such as trepanation, the careful removal of a piece of the skull, with remarkable success. Ancient Indian physicians developed surgical techniques that foreshadowed procedures still in use today. In the Americas, the Inca and Maya cultivated plants with remarkable medicinal properties, employing natural compounds that modern science later confirmed as effective against fevers, infections, and inflammation. What often seems magical from the outside, healing rituals, chants, and the precise preparation of herbal remedies, was frequently grounded in practical observation and repeated experimentation. The mystery lies not just in the techniques themselves, but in how knowledge was preserved and transmitted. In many societies, medicine was a sacred calling, entwined with philosophy, cosmology, and spiritual practice. Egyptian healers, known as SWNW, combined practical remedies with prayers and amulets, believing that physical illness often mirrored spiritual imbalance. The Ayurvedic tradition emphasized the harmony of three dashas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, and taught that disease arose when this delicate balance was disturbed. In China, the principles of yin and yang, along with the flow of qi, guided diagnosis and treatment, illustrating an understanding of interconnectedness that resonates with modern holistic approaches. By blending science, observation, and spirituality, these ancient systems cultivated a depth of insight into human health that often surprises contemporary researchers. Modern science has uncovered remarkable confirmations of these ancient practices. Chemical analyses of herbal compounds reveal antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, and analgesic properties in plants used thousands of years ago. Isotopic studies of ancient human remains show evidence of diet-based interventions and nutritional planning. Even surgical implements recovered from burial sites display designs optimized for effectiveness, sterilization, and safety. These discoveries highlight a fundamental truth. The ancient world, far from being primitive or ignorant, often possessed profound, evidence-based knowledge, encoded in ways that seemed mysterious but were meticulously practical. Equally captivating is the sense of ritual and ceremony intertwined with healing. A visit to an ancient temple or the study of preserved texts can feel like stepping into a world where medicine was not just a science, but a form of attentive storytelling. Each preparation of herbs, each chant or prayer, carried intention, mindfulness, and connection, elements that modern psychology now recognizes as influential in healing outcomes. There is a subtle magic in this blend of precision and reverence, a reminder that science and spirit, observation and ritual, were not always separate, but complementary paths to understanding the human body and its ailments. The global diversity of these practices also invites wonder. In Mesopotamia, clay tablets cataloged diseases and remedies with astonishing detail, suggesting an early form of medical record-keeping. The Incas performed cranial surgeries, while simultaneously treating patients with plants like coca, known for its anesthetic properties. In sub-Saharan Africa, communities relied on complex knowledge of local flora, combining practical application with oral tradition to pass wisdom from healer to apprentice. Across every continent, these practices reflect the same human instinct to seek understanding and relief in the face of suffering, using the resources of the natural world, guided by observation, tradition, and empathy. Yet, even with these discoveries, mysteries remain. Some remedies described in ancient texts still defy modern chemical explanation. Certain surgical procedures, long assumed impossible without modern anesthesia or antiseptics, succeeded under conditions that challenge our assumptions about historical capability. These gaps invite reflection on the limits of our knowledge and the depth of human ingenuity. They encourage a quiet respect for ancestors who, with minimal tools but immense curiosity, forged the foundations of medicine as we know it. As we imagine these ancient healers at work, mixing powders, crafting poultices, examining patients with attentive hands, and invoking both science and spirit, we are reminded of a larger truth. Healing is as much about understanding the human experience as it is about treating the body. Ancient medicine teaches patience, observation, and reverence for the interconnectedness of life. It is a lesson that resonates not only for historians or scientists, but for anyone who seeks calm, reflection, and curiosity in the quiet hours of the night. In this meditative space, we can appreciate the enduring wisdom of those who came before and the ways science today gently illuminates the secrets of their art, bringing clarity without erasing the poetry of their knowledge. Across the sweep of ancient history, the art of war was not merely about conflict. It was a reflection of human ingenuity, society, and the persistent desire to survive and thrive. From the sun-baked plains of Mesopotamia to the misty hills of Europe and the lush river valleys of Asia, civilizations devised strategies and structures that reveal both careful calculation and creative brilliance. Castles, fortresses, and city walls stood not only as shields against invasion, but as statements of human ambition, blending architectural skill with psychological insight. Each battlefield was a silent stage, where tactics, terrain, and timing intertwined, producing stories of triumph, failure, and ingenuity that resonate even today. The ancient world's approach to war was strikingly sophisticated. Armies were not simply gatherings of soldiers. They were organized forces with careful attention to logistics, training, and morale. The Romans perfected formations such as the testudo, a living shield of interlocked soldiers, allowing them to approach enemy walls with surprising efficiency. The Macedonian phalanx, with its long spears and disciplined ranks, demonstrated how unity and precise coordination could turn the tide of battle. Meanwhile, in China, the legendary strategies of Sun Tzu emphasized intelligence, deception, and the subtle art of winning without fighting whenever possible. These examples illuminate a recurring theme. Conflict, while destructive, became a canvas for human problem-solving and strategic thinking. Weapons themselves tell a story of innovation and adaptation. Archaeological finds reveal a range of arms, from simple clubs and slings to sophisticated composite bows and early forms of siege engines. Metallurgical advances allowed swords, armor, and projectiles to become more durable and effective, reflecting an understanding of material science long before it became formalized. Experimental archaeology allows modern researchers to test these ancient technologies, confirming the ingenuity of their design. What might seem primitive at first glance is often the result of careful observation, iterative improvement, and an intimate understanding of both human and natural forces. But war was more than just hardware and tactics. It was deeply intertwined with culture, belief, and psychology. Victories and defeats carried moral, religious, and social significance, shaping the identity of societies. Battle chants, drums, and banners were not mere ornamentation. They were tools of morale and psychological influence. Fortifications and city layouts were designed to impress and intimidate as much as to defend. Even the smallest details, placement of gates, width of walls, or the use of water and moats, reflect a sophisticated comprehension of human perception and environmental leverage. In examining these strategies, we see that ancient warfare was as much an intellectual exercise as a physical one. Science has helped illuminate these strategies in surprising ways. Archaeologists and historians study battlefield remains, weapons, and fortifications to reconstruct tactics with remarkable precision. Forensic analysis of skeletal remains provides insights into injuries, battle formations, and even the intensity of combat. Satellite imagery and LiDAR technology uncover previously invisible fortresses, roads, and defensive networks, revealing patterns of movement and strategic planning across landscapes. Through these modern tools, the once hidden logic of ancient military thinking emerges, allowing us to understand not only how battles were fought, but why civilizations made the choices they did. There is a quiet poetry in these discoveries. Consider the precision of a Roman legion's march, or the coordination of an army moving through a narrow mountain pass, each soldier performing their role in harmony with the others. There's a rhythm to these movements, a choreography that balances chaos and order. By exploring these patterns, we gain a glimpse of the minds behind them, the strategic thinking that shaped human history, and the ingenuity born from necessity. Even the brutal reality of war becomes a lens through which we can appreciate human creativity, adaptability, and foresight. Yet, despite the clarity modern science provides, mysteries endure. Some fortifications were abandoned with little explanation, leaving researchers to wonder about the decisions, alliances, or environmental pressures that led to such outcomes. Certain battlefield formations remain enigmatic, their efficiency and purpose only partially understood. Ancient texts hint at strategies or maneuvers that defy easy reconstruction, reminding us that knowledge is never complete and that the past retains a subtle, haunting ambiguity. This interplay of known and unknown, of revealed method and lingering mystery, sustains the quiet fascination of studying ancient warfare. As we reflect on these lessons from the past, there is a meditative quality to the story of war. It is not the violence itself that captivates, but the ingenuity, planning, and adaptability it demanded. Each strategy, fortification, and battle formation is a testament to human observation, foresight, and creativity. In a calm, reflective way, we can appreciate these insights, not for their utility in conflict today, but as a window into the minds of those who walked the earth thousands of years ago. Their struggles, decisions, and cleverness echo across time, inviting contemplation and curiosity. In the quiet of night, as we imagine these ancient landscapes and the careful orchestration of armies, there is a gentle lesson about the enduring human spirit. Civilizations rise and fall, strategies succeed or fail, and weapons crumble. Yet the creativity and reasoning that shaped these conflicts leave traces that science can uncover. Each discovery brings us closer to understanding not just the mechanics of war, but the humanity behind it. The ingenuity, the problem-solving, and the deep connection between people and the world around them. In this space between history and mystery, we find a calm curiosity, a fascination with what was known and what remains just out of reach, perfect for drifting into reflection or quiet sleep. Beneath the surface of the world's oceans lies a realm both silent and mysterious, a place where time seems suspended and the remnants of ancient civilizations wait patiently to be rediscovered. Sunken cities, submerged temples, and shipwrecks are scattered across the deep, often preserved in astonishing detail by the cold, dark water. The ocean, with its vastness and inaccessibility, has been both a keeper and a barrier, hiding stories that were lost to memory for centuries. It is in these quiet, watery depths that history sleeps, and science has slowly learned to awaken it. The allure of submerged worlds has captured human imagination for millennia. Legends speak of Atlantis, lost ports, and cities swallowed by floods. Myths of great deluges and vanishing civilizations echo across cultures, hinting at truths that were partially forgotten or obscured by time. The contrast between what is imagined and what can be measured has long fueled curiosity. While stories were once all we had, modern technology now allows us to explore beneath the waves, revealing tangible evidence of human ingenuity and tragedy. Sonar mapping, underwater robotics, and remote-operated submersibles have opened doors to environments that were previously inaccessible, transforming myth into scientific discovery. Shipwrecks provide a particularly vivid window into the past. They are time capsules, frozen at the moment of disaster, preserving goods, tools, and even personal belongings. From the Roman merchant vessels laden with amphorae to the grand galleons of the Spanish Empire, each wreck tells a story of trade, travel, and human ambition. Archaeologists can reconstruct the routes of ancient commerce, the materials that were valued, and the risks taken to move goods across treacherous waters. Even in decay, the arrangement of cargo and the remains of the ship itself speak volumes about construction techniques, navigation skills, and the interconnectedness of ancient economies. The sea, silent and dark, has thus become an archivist, preserving evidence that would have otherwise vanished into oblivion. Sunken settlements, on the other hand, reveal the intimate scale of daily life. Coastal towns that were gradually submerged by rising seas, shifting river courses, or catastrophic floods offer glimpses into architecture, diet, and social organization. Excavations beneath shallow waters reveal homes, pottery, and tools, each artifact whispering the story of ordinary lives. Isotopic analysis of fish bones and grains can show patterns of diet and resource use, while underwater surveys map the layout of streets and public spaces. The deeper we probe, the more vivid these lost worlds become, challenging the notion that the ocean is merely a barrier to understanding human history. Temples and ceremonial structures submerged beneath the waves add an even more mysterious dimension. These were not merely functional buildings. They were spaces of spiritual and communal significance. In some regions, rising waters may have been interpreted as divine acts, turning temples into sacred underwater shrines. Archaeological studies, combined with historical records and geologic evidence, reveal how coastal and island communities adapted to environmental changes. Structures that once stood in bustling harbors now lie in tranquil silence, their walls and carvings preserved by the unique chemistry and temperature of the water. The ocean, in its patient way, has become a preserver of memory, holding traces of devotion, ritual, and cultural identity for millennia. The scientific techniques used to uncover these secrets are as fascinating as the discoveries themselves. Sonar imaging allows researchers to map the ocean floor with astonishing precision, revealing outlines of buildings, streets, and even entire ports. Remote-operated vehicles can descend into depths unreachable by human divers, capturing high-resolution images and collecting artifacts without disturbing fragile ecosystems. Advances in underwater archaeology, including 3D modeling and photogrammetry, reconstruct sunken landscapes, allowing us to walk virtually through towns and temples long swallowed by water. Through these methods, the boundary between myth and reality blurs, as evidence emerges to support stories once considered purely legendary. Yet, even as the science progresses, the sea retains an aura of mystery. Some submerged cities remain only partially explored, with areas too deep, dangerous, or inaccessible for current technology. Currents and sediment shifts constantly reshape the underwater landscape, hiding and revealing secrets in an ongoing rhythm that reminds us of the dynamic nature of history itself. In some cases, what has been discovered raises more questions than it answers. Why were certain settlements abandoned? What events led to the sudden inundation of coastal temples? These unanswered questions invite reflection, curiosity, and a sense of wonder that perfectly complements the calm pacing of a sleep-friendly documentary. The human stories preserved underwater are particularly poignant. Consider a merchant ship laden with ceramic jars of olive oil, grain, and wine sunk during a violent storm. The carefully packed cargo, the personal belongings of crew members, and even inscriptions carved into would reveal the rhythms of daily life, the dangers of seafaring, and the ambitions of those who ventured across vast waters. Similarly, submerged towns and temples evoke the lives of communities that adapted to changing coastlines, natural disasters, or social upheaval. In these silent, watery worlds, science becomes a bridge connecting the present to the past, allowing us to reconstruct not just structures, but human experience itself. There is also a meditative aspect to exploring these submerged mysteries. The deep ocean, with its muted colors and gentle currents, creates a sense of timelessness. As researchers glide over sunken streets or descend toward a temple floor, there's a quiet rhythm, almost like the slow heartbeat of history itself. The process of uncovering these secrets is deliberate and patient, echoing the pacing of the natural world. It reminds viewers that understanding history is not always about rapid revelation. Sometimes it is about lingering in observation, allowing discovery to unfold gradually, and savoring the quiet awe of what lies hidden. In reflecting on the secrets beneath the sea, we are reminded that the past is vast, layered, and often preserved in unexpected places. Oceans, once feared as barriers and harbingers of loss, have become archives of memory, holding fragments of human ingenuity, devotion, and daily life. Science, with its tools and methods, illuminates these submerged worlds, revealing stories that blend fact with mystery. And yet, the deeper we explore, the more we recognize the limits of our knowledge, the hidden corners of history that remain just out of reach. This tension between what is known and what remains mysterious fosters a sense of wonder and gentle curiosity, perfectly suited for quiet reflection or the slow drift towards sleep. For millennia, humans have looked upward, mesmerized by the infinite expanse of the sky. Stars, planets, and the changing rhythms of the heavens have inspired stories, rituals, and structures that span continents and centuries. From the craggy hills of Mesopotamia to the dense jungles of Central America, civilizations sought to understand the patterns of the cosmos and their own place within it. The night sky was both a map and a mystery, a source of guidance for agriculture, navigation, and spiritual reflection, and a canvas onto which humans projected meaning, hope, and fear. Ancient observers noticed cycles with meticulous care. The Egyptians charted the rising and setting of Sirius, linking it to the annual flooding of the Nile, a phenomenon crucial to their agriculture. In the Americas, the Maya constructed observatories and designed temples with precise alignments to the sun, moon, and planets, allowing them to track eclipses and calendar cycles with remarkable accuracy. Across Asia, Babylonians and Chinese astronomers maintained detailed records of celestial events, from planetary conjunctions to meteor showers, carefully documenting what they observed with methods refined over generations. The contrast between the vastness of the sky and the precision of human observation evokes a profound sense of wonder, reminding us that curiosity has always been a bridge between the known and the unknown. Modern science has illuminated the logic behind these ancient observations. Archaeoastronomy, a field that blends archaeology and astronomy, uses satellite imaging, precise surveying, and computer modeling to understand the intentional alignments of monuments and temples. Structures that once seemed merely monumental now reveal sophisticated astronomical functions. The Great Temple of Kukulkan at Chichen Itza, for example, casts a shadow that traces the equinoxes, creating the illusion of a serpent descending its stairs, a symbol tied to cosmology and ritual. Similarly, Stonehenge, long shrouded in mystery, aligns with solstices, suggesting a deep awareness of solar patterns. Science deciphers these alignments, uncovering layers of knowledge encoded in stone, yet the awe inspired by the human imagination behind them remains undiminished. The integration of celestial knowledge into daily life was equally remarkable. Farmers used the positions of stars to determine planting and harvest times. Sailors relied on constellations for navigation across treacherous waters, and rulers used celestial events to legitimize their power and divine favor. The interplay between observation, practical application, and ritual demonstrates a sophisticated understanding of the natural world. Even in the absence of modern telescopes, ancient peoples achieved extraordinary precision, showing that careful attention and careful record-keeping can reveal truths that remain valid across centuries. What makes these discoveries so compelling is the combination of human ingenuity and cosmic mystery. The sky itself is infinite, yet within its vastness, humans found patterns, meaning, and methods to structure their lives. This contrast between the unknowable and the meticulously observed creates a quiet, contemplative fascination. The monuments, texts, and artifacts that survive are more than evidence. They're whispers from minds long past, hinting at the same curiosity and wonder that still stirs within us today. Each alignment, each observation, is a bridge between the human and the cosmic, connecting what is tangible to what is ethereal. There's also an element of ritual and spirituality intertwined with astronomy. In many cultures, observing the heavens was a sacred act, a way to commune with forces larger than oneself. Temples and observatories were not merely scientific instruments. They were sacred spaces where knowledge and devotion merged. The movements of celestial bodies were interpreted as signs or omens, guiding decisions from planting crops to waging wars. Modern researchers can trace these patterns and decode their practical significance. Yet the reverence that ancient observers held for the cosmos remains palpable, giving the study of archaeoastronomy a meditative quality that resonates with calm, reflective listening. The mysteries that endure are equally fascinating. Despite modern analysis, some alignments and constructions defy easy explanation. Why were certain temples oriented in ways that seem unrelated to major celestial events? How did isolated cultures arrive at similar methods for tracking the sun, moon, and stars independently? These questions remind us that knowledge in the ancient world was often encoded in complex ways, blending observation, ritual, and symbolism. Science illuminates the mechanisms, but the wonder, the sense of connection to a universe both vast and intimate, lingers, untouched and profound. Studying these ancient clues encourages a slow, contemplative engagement with history. When a researcher measures the shadow of a column at sunset or calculates the trajectory of a star over centuries, there is a rhythm, a quiet dialogue between human curiosity and the cosmos. The process mirrors the experience of watching the night sky oneself, a mixture of measurement, observation, and reflective awe. In this space, history and astronomy converge, revealing that the pursuit of understanding is as much about patience and attention as it is about discovery. Ultimately, the story of ancient astronomy is a story of connection. It is the tale of humans reaching beyond their immediate surroundings, seeking patterns in the infinite, and encoding that knowledge in ways that could survive millennia. Science allows us to read these clues, to understand the practical and symbolic dimensions of celestial observation. Yet even with explanation comes a gentle recognition of the mystery that remains, the wonder of the night sky, the infinite questions it poses, and the echoes of those long-ago observers who first dared to map it. For the listener in the quiet of night, this blend of clarity and mystery fosters a meditative state, a calm curiosity that drifts seamlessly into reflection and restful contemplation. Through these observations, we glimpse the enduring human impulse to seek understanding, to find meaning in the vast unknown, and to harmonize life with the rhythms of the universe. Ancient astronomy teaches that even in the face of immense complexity, careful observation and patience can illuminate patterns that guide us. It is a quiet, poetic reminder that curiosity, when paired with dedication, bridges the gap between the ephemeral and the eternal. In the soft glow of imagination and the gentle cadence of history, the sky becomes a storyteller, revealing clues that are at once tangible and mysterious, grounding and expansive, perfectly attuned to the slow, immersive pace of a sleep-friendly journey through the past. Long before modern borders and globalized networks, the world was alive with connections, both visible and hidden. Merchants, travelers, and messengers moved across deserts, rivers, and mountains, carrying not only goods, but also ideas, customs, and words. These ancient networks of trade and communication reveal a world more interconnected than one might imagine, a world in which distant civilizations influenced one another in subtle and profound ways. Language, commerce, and cultural exchange served as the threads weaving together human experience across continents, leaving traces that science and archaeology are only now beginning to untangle. Language itself is a window into these lost connections. Written texts, inscriptions, and symbolic markings preserved on stone, clay, or metal provide evidence of trade, diplomacy, and shared knowledge. The discovery of Akkadian cuneiform tablets in regions far from Mesopotamia hints at diplomatic and commercial relationships extending across hundreds of miles. Similarly, the Indus script, though only partially deciphered, appears on seals and artifacts found in distant locations, suggesting networks of exchange and communication that bridged rivers, mountains, and deserts. Language, in these instances, becomes a tangible marker of human curiosity and collaboration, connecting people across time and space. Trade amplified these connections, leaving behind a rich archaeological record. Ancient merchants moved not only staple goods like grain, oil, and wine, but also luxury items, ivory, precious metals, spices, and textiles, each carrying cultural significance and practical utility. Shipwrecks, trading posts, and caravan routes reveal the vast scope of these exchanges, showing how commodities and ideas flowed together. The presence of Egyptian artifacts in the Levant or Roman amphorae in India demonstrates that long-distance trade was not just theoretical. It was a daily reality. These exchanges brought together diverse societies, creating spaces where knowledge, technology, and art could be shared, adapted, and transformed. The study of these networks often uncovers unexpected patterns. Isotopic analysis of materials reveals the origin of metals, stones, and ceramics, tracing their journeys across continents. Linguistic studies illuminate the movement of words, scripts, and place names, showing how languages influenced one another through trade and migration. Even genetic studies of ancient populations reveal the flow of people alongside goods, suggesting that commerce facilitated cultural blending, intermarriage, and the spread of ideas. Through these layers of evidence, modern science reconstructs a complex tapestry of human interaction, reminding us that isolation was rare and connection was often the rule rather than the exception. Yet these networks were fragile, and some connections were lost or obscured over time. Cities declined, rivers changed course, empires fell, and trade routes were abandoned, leaving behind traces that puzzled historians for centuries. The collapse of the Minoan civilization, for instance, disrupted maritime trade in the Mediterranean, scattering artifacts across distant shores and leaving archaeologists to piece together the story from fragments. Similarly, the sudden abandonment of certain Indus Valley cities obscured evidence of their connections to distant regions. These gaps in the historical record invite quiet contemplation, a gentle reminder of the impermanence of human endeavors and the subtle ways nature and circumstance can erase even thriving networks. There's a poetic rhythm to uncovering these lost connections. Every shard of pottery, every faded inscription, and every trace of a trade route serves as a fragment of a larger story, waiting to be gently reconstructed. Archaeologists, linguists, and historians act as careful interpreters, drawing out patterns that reveal not only the practical logistics of ancient commerce, but also the human relationships and cultural exchanges that accompanied it. Each discovery is a small victory, a quiet illumination that brings the past into sharper focus, while still leaving room for wonder about what remains hidden. These ancient networks also reveal the universality of human curiosity and ingenuity. Merchants and travelers faced treacherous seas, harsh deserts, and unpredictable political landscapes, yet they persisted in their journeys. In doing so, they facilitated the spread of technology, knowledge, and cultural practices. The wheel, metallurgy, writing systems, and agricultural techniques traveled alongside silks, spices, and ceramics, seeding innovations in distant lands. By following these traces, modern researchers uncover the subtle ways that civilizations influenced each other, building a narrative of shared human enterprise that stretches across continents and centuries. Language, trade, and lost connections also speak to resilience and adaptation. When networks were disrupted, new ones formed. When cities were abandoned, others rose in their place. Cultures adapted to shifting political, environmental, and economic circumstances, demonstrating both flexibility and foresight. Scientific techniques, such as mapping ancient roads, analyzing trade goods, and studying linguistic evolution allow us to reconstruct these dynamic processes with remarkable detail. The past becomes a living, breathing entity, revealing patterns of connection exchange, and adaptation that continue to resonate with us today. At its heart, this exploration is a meditation on human connection itself. It shows that even in times we consider remote and ancient, people reach beyond their immediate surroundings, forming relationships, sharing knowledge, and building networks that shape the course of history. The discoveries of these lost connections provide not only insight, but also a sense of intimacy, a reminder that we are part of a long continuum of curiosity, exchange, and adaptation. The rhythms of trade, language, and cultural transmission echo across time, offering lessons in persistence, creativity, and the enduring human desire to reach outward. In the quiet of reflection, as we trace these ancient routes and decipher inscriptions, there is a gentle wonder in imagining the movement of people and goods across vast landscapes. Each artifact, each linguistic trace, each genetic clue adds depth to our understanding of the past, revealing patterns that were once invisible. Science illuminates these connections, yet also preserves the sense of mystery and awe, allowing us to appreciate both what is known and what remains hidden. In this space between discovery and imagination, the story of human connection unfolds slowly, perfectly attuned to the calm, meditative pace of nighttime reflection or gentle sleep. Ultimately, the study of language, trade, and lost connections reminds us that the past is not static. It is alive with movement, exchange, and human creativity. Every recovered inscription, every artifact traced to a distant origin, every trade route reconstructed, invites us to marvel at the ingenuity and interconnectedness of our ancestors. It is a story of persistence, curiosity, and discovery, quietly echoing through time, leaving us with a profound sense of wonder and a gentle, reflective appreciation for the enduring human spirit. In the quiet corners of museums, archaeological sites, and ancient ruins, artifacts rest patiently, holding secrets of lives long past. These objects, tools, jewelry, pottery, and fragments of everyday life appear mundane at first glance, yet they speak volumes about the people who made and used them. Each artifact is a storyteller, bridging the gap between the present and a world that has long vanished. Science and careful observation allow us to interpret their silent messages, revealing rituals, habits, and social structures, while the mystery of what cannot be known lingers softly, preserving a sense of wonder. Even the simplest of objects can illuminate the extraordinary. A chipped stone blade tells of human ingenuity, showing how early communities transformed natural materials into precise tools to hunt, build, or craft. Pottery fragments reveal not only artistic skill, but also daily routines, trade networks, and technological experimentation. Patterns etched into ceramics may hint at religious symbolism, family identity, or aesthetic preferences, allowing a glimpse into minds long gone. Through careful analysis, these seemingly ordinary items reveal layers of intention, skill, and meaning, quietly unfolding the story of civilization one fragment at a time. Jewelry and decorative objects offer a window into personal and cultural expression. Beads, pendants, and carved ornaments were more than adornments. They communicated status, belief, and identity. Materials sourced from distant regions suggest trade routes and cultural connections, while designs and motifs can reveal symbolic or spiritual significance. In some cases, the choice of metals, stones, or pigments demonstrates sophisticated knowledge of chemistry and material properties, underscoring the ingenuity and aesthetic sensibilities of ancient artisans. These small, intimate objects convey both the universality of human creativity and the particularities of individual cultures, inviting reflection on both similarity and difference across time. Ritual and ceremonial artifacts add a layer of mystery and reverence. Figurines, altars, and sacred implements offer insight into spiritual practices, cosmology, and communal values. Some objects were deliberately placed in tombs, temples, or hidden caches, their meaning preserved for posterity or for unseen forces. Modern scientific techniques, ranging from radiocarbon dating to chemical analysis of residues, reveal the purposes and context of these items, yet the emotional and symbolic resonance remains partly elusive. In this interplay between explanation and mystery, viewers can feel the depth of human imagination and the sacred attention given to objects that shaped ritual life. Even the arrangement of objects can tell stories. Archaeologists note patterns in the placement of tools, ornaments, and offerings, interpreting spatial organization as a reflection of social hierarchy, ritual behavior, or communal priorities. For example, the deliberate grouping of ceramics in domestic spaces might indicate shared meals, social roles, or family structures. In sacred spaces, the orientation and placement of statues or votive objects suggest careful planning and symbolic intent. These arrangements, preserved by time, sediment, or intentional burial, allow a glimpse into the rhythm of daily life, the architecture of thought, and the invisible logic of human behavior. Scientific analysis of artifacts reveals not only what people did, but also how they thought and innovated. Microscopic study of wear patterns on tools can indicate specific functions, while residue analysis uncovers food preparation, medicinal use, or ritual substances. Metallurgical tests reveal technological sophistication, showing that ancient craftspeople understood alloying, tempering, and shaping techniques that rival modern knowledge and cleverness. Even when objects are broken, fragmented, or partially eroded, the combination of careful observation, experimental reconstruction, and modern technology allows researchers to reconstruct lost practices, offering a quiet, almost meditative satisfaction in unraveling the ingenuity encoded in everyday objects. Trade and cultural exchange are also encoded in artifacts. Objects made of exotic materials, such as ivory from distant lands or pigments unavailable locally, testify to networks of contact and commerce. Decorative motifs or stylistic influences often travel alongside these materials, revealing cross-cultural interactions, adaptation, and innovation. Through these traces, objects become more than personal or local. They're evidence of a connected world, where ideas and aesthetics flowed alongside goods, leaving imprints across vast distances. Even when only fragments remain, these items hint at broader patterns of human movement, creativity, and curiosity. Yet for all their explanatory power, artifacts retain an aura of mystery. Many questions remain unanswered. The precise function of a tool, the exact meaning of symbolic carvings, or the personal story behind a treasured ornament. Some objects defy complete understanding, leaving gaps that invite imagination and reflection. This tension between what is known and what remains hidden is part of their charm. It encourages viewers to linger, to consider the richness of human experience, and to appreciate the layers of history embedded in objects that have survived centuries of change. Artifacts also evoke empathy. When holding or visualizing an ancient cup, figurine, or tool, one can imagine the hands that crafted it, the lives that used it, and the context in which it existed. Each object carries traces of intention, care, and daily practice, connecting us to individuals across time. In this way, artifacts serve as intimate bridges to the past, transforming abstract history into personal experience. They remind us that the past was lived, not merely recorded, and that science helps us recover not only facts but the texture of human life itself. In the end, the study of artifacts is a delicate balance between revelation and wonder. Science illuminates technique, use, and context, while the silent mysteries that remain keep the imagination alive. These objects allow us to witness the ingenuity, artistry, and ritual of civilizations long gone, offering insight without diminishing their enigmatic beauty. For viewers listening in the quiet of night, this gentle exploration fosters calm curiosity, an appreciation of the subtle stories embedded in human culture, and a meditative connection to the continuity of human creativity across time. Through tools, pottery, jewelry, and ceremonial objects, the past speaks softly but persistently. Each artifact is a storyteller, revealing both what we can understand and what remains just beyond reach. They remind us that history is not merely a record of events, but a tapestry of human experience, crafted through ingenuity, care, and imagination. In their quiet presence, we find both knowledge and wonder, a perfect rhythm for reflection, curiosity, and gentle contemplation at the edge of sleep. As we draw near to the end of our journey through the corridors of ancient history, a quiet reflection emerges, a space where the known and the unknown converge, where discoveries illuminate yet still leave shadows of mystery. Time, in its gentle and relentless flow, has preserved fragments of human ingenuity, creativity, and curiosity, while simultaneously erasing so much else. Every monument, every artifact, every submerged city, and every celestial alignment we have explored is a reminder of both the fragility and the endurance of human endeavor. History whispers to us, soft yet persistent, urging contemplation of what has been, what is now understood, and what remains tantalizingly just out of reach. In tracing the achievements of ancient civilizations, we have witnessed humanity's remarkable capacity to observe, experiment, and innovate. From the towering pyramids that defied gravity and expectation to the precise alignment of megaliths with the heavens, we see a careful interplay of mathematics, observation, and vision. The ancients were not mere dreamers. They were meticulous experimenters, crafting knowledge into stone, clay, and soil, leaving enduring traces for us to follow. Modern science, in its patient, methodical way, peels back the layers of time, revealing the techniques, purposes, and ingenuity that enabled these feats. Yet even as clarity emerges, the emotional resonance, the awe, the reverence, the human spirit captured in these works, remains intact, reminding us that understanding does not diminish wonder. Artifacts and relics, whether buried beneath earth or resting quietly beneath the waves, offer equally profound lessons. They speak of daily life as much as of monumental achievement, of personal choices and communal rituals, of trade, connection, and innovation. Each fragment, each carefully crafted object, tells a story of intention and care. Science can uncover materials, origins, and use, yet cannot fully recreate the tactile experience of holding a clay cup in ancient hands or sensing the weight of a bronze tool crafted centuries ago. These gaps are not deficiencies. They are invitations, spaces where imagination and reflection meet empirical discovery, allowing us to inhabit the past without fully possessing it. The mysteries themselves hold a quiet power. Some questions may never be answered. The purpose of an enigmatic structure, the meaning of an undeciphered script, the reason for a sudden cultural collapse. These unanswered elements are not failures of knowledge, but reminders of the richness and complexity of human history. They cultivate a sense of humility, a recognition that no matter how sophisticated our tools or how extensive our archives, some aspects of human experience are bound to remain elusive. It is in these shadows, in the spaces where clarity meets uncertainty, that curiosity deepens and the mind is invited to wander, ponder, and imagine possibilities. Underwater cities, long forgotten and preserved by the calm patience of the ocean, remind us that history is often layered and hidden, waiting for careful exploration. Science reveals the architecture, commerce, and daily life of these submerged worlds, yet the eerie silence, the shadows of streets and temples beneath shifting currents, retains its enigmatic beauty. Similarly, the study of ancient astronomy connects us to civilizations that watched the same stars, guided by the same cycles, and marveled at the same celestial rhythms. In observing their precision and their reverence, we are reminded that curiosity and awe are timeless, shared across millennia, and that the universe has always inspired reflection and innovation. Language and trade, so crucial to the spread of culture and knowledge, reveal that humanity has long been interconnected. Words, goods, and ideas moved across deserts, rivers, and seas, linking people who would otherwise have remained strangers. Archaeology and linguistics uncover these networks, tracing paths of exchange, migration, and influence. In doing so, we see the profound universality of human curiosity and creativity, and the enduring human desire to communicate, connect, and leave traces of existence. These patterns are more than historical records. They're living threads, weaving together past and present, inviting us to recognize the continuity of human endeavor. Medicine, engineering, and technology, carefully preserved in texts, tools, and structural remains, show that practical knowledge and scientific observation were always intertwined with human culture. Ancient surgeons, architects, and artisans relied on observation, experimentation, and collaboration to solve complex problems. Their methods, often encoded in ritual or tradition, remind us that science is not only a modern pursuit, but a timeless one, and that ingenuity is a hallmark of human life across ages. By studying these achievements, we honor the diligence and creativity of those who came before, appreciating that every discovery, however small, is part of a continuum reaching into our present understanding. Even the violent and tumultuous aspects of history, the battles, sieges, and conquests, offer lessons in strategy, ingenuity, and resilience. Military innovations, fortifications, and battlefield tactics reveal the same careful planning, observation, and problem-solving that characterize other areas of human achievement. Science and archaeology allow us to reconstruct these moments with remarkable detail, highlighting the interplay between intellect, environment, and circumstance. In reflecting on these episodes, we gain insight not into the spectacle of war alone, but into the complex decisions, creativity, and human spirit that shaped societies and influenced their survival. Throughout this exploration, a persistent theme emerges: the delicate balance between knowledge and mystery. Science provides clarity, revealing how structures were built, how medicines were prepared, and how people navigated both land and sky. Yet, equally important, the unknown, those questions that resist explanation, keeps the past alive. It reminds us that history is not a fixed record, but a living dialogue, one in which we participate as both observers and dreamers. The tension between what is revealed and what remains hidden nurtures imagination, reflection, and a gentle sense of wonder, creating the perfect atmosphere for calm contemplation. Reflection also brings a sense of continuity. The human impulse to explore, create, and understand has endured across millennia. The same curiosity that drove an ancient astronomer to chart the stars, a sculptor to carve intricate patterns in a stone, or a sailor to navigate treacherous seas resonates within us today. In studying the past, we recognize ourselves as part of a chain of inquiry, discovery, and reflection that links countless generations. Each artifact, monument, and insight is a reminder of shared humanity, a testament to the persistence of curiosity, creativity, and observation over the ages. And yet, for all we have uncovered, there is a softness, a quiet meditation in the act of discovery. Science does not eliminate mystery. It heightens it, framing it with evidence while leaving room for imagination. The process is gentle, deliberate, and immersive, echoing the rhythms of life itself. Whether tracing the lines of a submerged street, measuring the shadow of a solstice-aligned temple, or deciphering a long-forgotten script, each moment of understanding is balanced by the lingering presence of the unknown. In this balance lies a calm curiosity, a restful engagement with history that is as contemplative as it is enlightening. Ultimately, reflecting on time, mystery, and discovery invites us to slow down. It encourages us to linger over the details of human endeavor, to appreciate the ingenuity and care embedded in every artifact, monument, and text. It reminds us that knowledge is cumulative, built upon the efforts of countless individuals, and that understanding is both an intellectual and emotional experience. By observing, imagining, and reflecting, we participate in a quiet dialogue with the past, drawing lessons, inspiration, and a sense of wonder that resonates deeply, even in the gentle hours of night. As we let these thoughts settle, it becomes clear that the story of humanity is one of persistence, curiosity, and creativity. Civilizations rise and fall, cities flourish and crumble, and empires expand and contract. Yet, the echoes of human ingenuity remain, preserved in stone, clay, metal, and memory, waiting patiently for those willing to observe and listen. Each discovery, whether monumental or subtle, is a bridge between eras, linking our present to a tapestry of human experience that stretches across millennia. In the calm of night, as we close this exploration, there's a gentle invitation to carry forward this sense of wonder. The past, though distant, is intimately connected to the present, offering lessons in resilience, creativity, and curiosity. The mysteries that remain encourage reflection. The known inspires awe, and the delicate interplay between the two fosters a meditative appreciation for the continuity of human thought and endeavor. Time, with its relentless forward motion, preserves and erases in equal measure. Yet through careful observation and reflection, we are able to access fragments of its story, enough to inspire quiet contemplation and gentle curiosity. The beauty of history lies not only in discovery, but in the act of imagining, in the slow, deliberate process of connecting dots, tracing patterns, and piecing together stories from fragments. Each artifact, structure, and celestial alignment is a testament to human creativity, persistence, and intelligence, but also to the subtle poetry of human existence. The daily lives, personal choices, and imaginative leaps that often go unnoticed but leave enduring traces. Science illuminates these traces, while mystery preserves their allure, together creating a rhythm of reflection and discovery that is both restful and enriching. In this final reflection, we are invited to consider our place in the continuum of time. We recognize that curiosity, creativity, and observation are timeless traits, and that each of us participates, in small ways, in the ongoing story of human discovery. The past offers not only lessons but also a sense of continuity, connecting us to countless generations who, like us, sought to understand, create, and leave a mark upon the world. In acknowledging the balance of knowledge and mystery, of light and shadow, we cultivate a gentle awareness of the beauty and complexity of human history. And so, as the last echoes of these ancient stories settle into the quiet of night, we are left with a profound sense of calm wonder. The monuments, artifacts, and mysteries we have explored are not distant or lifeless. They are companions in reflection, gentle guides through time, and reminders of the enduring human spirit. Science provides understanding, curiosity fuels the imagination, and mystery sustains awe. Together, they create a tapestry of knowledge and contemplation, offering not just insights into the past, but also a meditative rhythm that lingers softly, inviting reflection, imagination, and the quiet drift towards sleep.